Hello, my name is Randy Williams, proud member of Keiretsu Forum, also the founder and CEO. We're in our 17th year at Keiretsu Forum. Proud to say we are at our 49th location globally. We started filming here in Silicon Valley a year and a half ago, and I was announcing then, I think it was 39, 40, so happy to say 49 chapters. We have licensed the rights around the world. We think the world's flat. We see excellent deal flow everywhere. It's just not always coming from Silicon Valley, so we don't want to miss opportunities. So we're talking about Keiretsu Forum Japan today. We're talking about the ecosystem, what we're going to look forward to. You know, possibly the challenges, the opportunities, and so let me introduce the guest and get right in the program. So this is going to be interactive, and so why don't we start to my left. Jun, tell us about your background and welcome to the program.
Thank you. My name is Jun Ueki. I'm from Japan, of course. I am the angel investor in USA and also in Japan. Recently, I extended to my investment opportunity into the Asia, namely Hong Kong and Singapore area. But I'm also an entrepreneur myself. We raised many companies in Japan as well as the US.
Okay, Kohsuke.
Yes, thank you for inviting us today. I'm now helping Japanese clients, the companies, or the individuals to expand their business all over the world, in particular in Asia. So I'm always located in Tokyo or the Hong Kong. And based on the private equity investment, I'm involved in angel investing as well in Tokyo. So I'm very looking forward to today to talk with you about our ecosystem and the angel investing in Japan.
And so we have grown internationally and through the United States by people approaching us. And we have not had any overtures from Japan. We have grown to 49 locations, and we're looking at the 50th, which will be opening in Tokyo hopefully the next 3 or 4 months. And so it's great that we finally will have a great team that's going to be leading the charge there. But when I was fortunate to retire from a real estate business, I was doing business with Japanese clients, and I named Keiretsu because to me, Keiretsu is a term of family. And we really have a family of 3,000 members globally. But now that we have Japanese on the program, tell us really what it really means to you, what Keiretsu means.
Keiretsu とは日本語では家族に近いものがあります。So it's so interesting actually. When I heard of Keiretsu, what is that? What is that like you do?
What is this American calling Keiretsu? Why are you taking our word, right?
That's right. Yeah. And then in the angel investing format, how does it? Because the Keiretsu, of course, in the business world, is mostly used is the format of the system. Example, in industry of automobile industry, you have a certain company. Let's say name it the Toyota. You have alliances of Toyota team, but not 100% owned by the Toyota, but independently owned. Parts like lights, seats, even a tiny compartment. But those have to work together, to collaborate together, to make it one complete car. And then they have to sell it. So to make a competitive edge, they have alliances, that really strong alliances, to collaborate each other and they make commitment to each other. That's what the Keiretsu is. So the parts company is going to be focused on the Toyota cars, not Honda, not Nissan. So they're able to not worry about their own people. And just focus. Toyota is able to focus and to go market, compete, and therefore the parts company like that will be successful as well. So that's what the in business world Keiretsu is about.
So when I was dreaming up Keiretsu 20 years ago, and I started 17 years ago, and we and put it together, I really wanted the core to be strong, corporate, and I wanted our licensees, our chapters throughout the world, just as strong. But I wanted them to have great ideas. And again, back to World's Flat, I want to see great deal flow from, we were in Singapore. We just opened up in China. We're throughout India. We have 3 locations, and we want to see deal flow. Typically, when a chapter opens, 90% of the deal flow, what the members are interested. Let's talk about Istanbul chapter. They had the first 13 companies that came they were invested in Istanbul. 7 of them came from Silicon Valley. Until they understand the whole process and get comfortable with their own startups, then they eventually go 50-50. Because I want my members, and we have 362 members here in Bay Area, Northern California, we want to think global, but really our international chapters think more global than we do. We have very interesting deal flow, but we don't want to think the best deal flow always comes from Silicon Valley. Yeah. But one thing really cool about Silicon Valley is we have the world here. So we have fantastic Japanese entrepreneurs, not enough. We have fantastic Indian entrepreneurs, not enough. But we get to see it a lot. So tell us what you think when we set up a chapter in Tokyo, what the members, potential members, may be interested in. And also, when you answer the question, I really am dreaming more about strategic relationships in the future. How do we create exit with these companies with strategics, whether it be Intel or Google? How do we introduce your companies you invest in to our companies over here to create their own Keiretsu to grow further? So the first question, what do you think, what will be the perfect member? What will she or he look like in Tokyo? And what will they be interested in?
I think Kohsuke will elaborate on this issue. What our potential members, 2 members, of course, the corporate members, that they have their own interests, why they will be interested in a format like this or platform like this. Eventually, looking at the investment or relationship with that. So that's a corporate side. And we have individual members who may be interested in looking at the capital gain from the startups and in the USA. But they're 2 totally different markets. And I think Kohsuke will...
So strategic or the corporate, are they mostly interested in knowledge?
Yes, so he will elaborate, yes.
Knowledge, information.
Yes, and the seeds of technologies.
Okay. And then the individual is he or she wants profit.
Yes.
Okay. But they can come together.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And even now, many Japanese companies or even mid-cap companies to startups, they know the necessity to be international. So from the beginning of the incorporation, they know and they want to do the business all over the world. But in the history of the Japan economy has big enough for domestic businesses. So actually it's easy for them to do business domestically, but they know the necessity. They know they have to do. But they didn't know, and now they don't know how to make the business international. So we, Keiretsu Japan, can help it to do for the strategic alliances between not only US and Japan, but also other international chapters that Keiretsu Forum has as its basic but the essential factors that differentiate from other angel investing forums or other the gatherings
Yeah,
like
sure.
that.
Well, we'll talk about that differentiator, why we're different, unique from possibly other groups around the world.
Yes.
But let me bring up Seoul, Korea, because yesterday my team launched Seoul, Korea, and what was powerful about that is they have a team of 10 mentors or large strategics from large corporations that wanted to bring the ecosystem to Seoul. It wasn't just about money. They wanted to make sure they have a culture to compete globally. And hopefully you'll do the same. You'll have a large charter membership, a large team to help you, because it just can't happen, the two of us or myself. So getting back to Keiretsu is about synergy. One of our differentiators is, one, we love collaboration and cooperation with any angel group around the world. In fact, of our over 1,000 fundings, probably at least 20% of that has come from great angel groups, including ones here in the Valley, down in LA, back in Boston. Number two is that one thing about, we are the only true network around the world. We have 49 locations, soon to be 50. We're interviewing right now 4 or 5 other locations in Asia. So the perfect chapter president, she or he, has to build and retain a great investment community, and it takes a lot of work, passion, and love. But we also have to have the two constituents is obviously membership and company. So how can we help your companies? What I think of is we can provide commercialization. We're big consumers in America. So how can we help the companies from Tokyo or Japan prosper globally, especially in America?
Yes, that's the very good or essential part of the Keiretsu Japan. And before that, could you tell us what kind of members are joining the Keiretsu Forum, of course, in Silicon Valley and also other chapters?
Well, we're fortunate to have over 3,000 members. We're 49 locations. Here in the West Coast, I'll mention some members. I won't say their names, but when your colleagues and your members come to Silicon Valley, they'll meet them personally. But every industry is populated at Keiretsu Forum. Either they're retiree and or they're currently at the companies. Let's start with A's. So Amazon, we have a lot of Amazon members, both retirees and Amazon in Northwest. Apple, we have retirees that you'll meet tomorrow. We have Intel, we have Twitter, we have Google, we have Microsoft, either currently employed or retired.
Okay, it means the Keiretsu Forum is located at the center of the Silicon Valley, or the angel investing in this.
And I've never missed a screening day in 17 years. I've only missed 2 forums in 17 years. And I just love our community. But what I say when I'm up there, and so if your colleagues come from Japan and come to one of our events, in fact, we have our large event May 2nd. We're filming this in 2017 in February. So our large event May 2nd, we'll have 600 of us, of which 200 will be global citizens and members around the world. But it's at Microsoft here down in Mountain View. But the spirit of the expo is to bring the world together. And when I stand up at the expo or any forum, and I don't miss forums or screenings, I always talk about resources. Yes, there's a lot of capital at Keiretsu Forum, but let's help the companies give with our heart and our head. We're already giving money, so let's make sure that we give resources. So what resources can we help the Japanese companies with?
So the corporation in Japan, let's just focus on the corporation right now, mid to large size, especially. That if we focus on that, they have, of course, large one will have offices in the Silicon Valley, Northwest, to collect information. What is happening in the industry? What is happening in the new upcoming startup type of deal? What is available? IT-wise, IP-wise. So large corporation will try to get information of their own. But many of the mid-sized companies are not able to do that. So what they rely on is the information source generally available, or large venture capital, or they are sold from the U.S. In a form of the investment. So the venture or they fund the company, from U.S. or alliances of Japanese will talk to them. Here's the companies, the list of companies they're able to offer, and they have this and they have this. So they're sold. The information is sold to those people. But they have needs, or they have actually the fear. The word is more accurate in that sense of not knowing.
Right.
Not knowing. They fear of not knowing, so they're hungry for more information.
Well, blessing for me, I learn something every day at Keiretsu Forum. Let me bring up two controversial points. For me, they're controversial. Let's talk about the 50s. Let's talk about Japan beating America in the car industry. Why that happened? I'm thinking economy and also economy and size. You know, why didn't we see that? Why didn't we see Honda coming to America and beating us? You know, why didn't these car industry, the big three at that time thinking, well, why don't we make smaller cars? So we look carefully at investments. We want to disrupt too. You know, when we invest in a company, we want like Uber, we want that to disrupt the economy and grow. So getting back to 50s, Japan did a great job. Now, are you looking to disrupt other industries in the future?
Yeah, yes, do. Actually.
Let's be controversial.
Of course, maybe we were not born at the 1950s. No, actually, he was not born. But if you think about if you look at the industry, automobile industry, for you try an example, is that there is a progress. They just didn't come in, start dominating the industry. 50s, they were not existing. They started. And around the 70s, if you remember, with oil, gas prices start going up, and that's that era that I think we should start talking about it, because Japanese. Because Detroit dominated the American market, right? American domestic market was dominated by the Detroit. So all those cars are muscle cars, if you remember the everything. So the gas guzzler type of it, that was fine. And Japanese look at that. Are we going to create the Cadillac? Are we going to have the large car to compete with? No, what they have is the small cars by trade, because the Japanese road is small and so on, right?
So they got lucky, or they're smart?
No, so they try to bring their own cars, small cars.
But you disrupted, and you won for a period of time.
Okay, so we are lucky to begin with, right? The gas thing coming in, but I think. The technology-wise, we didn't call it technology then. We call it craftsmanship. Japanese are very, very good craftsmanship. So all cars don't break as much as others. So quality. Japanese quality is now
economy, and size.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a niche market that they penetrate in. They didn't try to compete with the large size. They tried good at it.
So at Keiretsu Forum, we're always trying to look 10 years out. So how are you going to? What's the technology we're going to invest in you that's going to disrupt the next opportunity? What industry should we be looking at? You both love IT. What industries should we look at if we're going to be investing
in Japan? That is.
There are some interesting industries, but in particularly I can say material sciences are very, very interesting. You know, the carbon nanotube, like that is the basis of this current modern civilization actually, and without that, many of the major industry cannot stand. Then I know some very, very future giants in terms of their material science in Japan, but they don't have enough capital, they don't have enough knowledge or the experiences to make it international. Some are aware of that, and they are helping that, including me. But the Keiretsu Forum can help it, I believe. And let's get back to your previous question that you asked how Keiretsu Forum help Japanese companies. Actually, of course, each particular or concrete skills or something or the human resources, it's itself, of course, helpful, but the essence of the Keiretsu Forum is a ecosystem. Keiretsu is itself ecosystem. In Japan, from my viewpoint, no enough ecosystem for such kind of angel investing or the startups. The Tokyo or the startups in Japan definitely need it now to make it international or to expand. Yeah. So in terms of that, the meaning of doing a startup Keiretsu Japan is to install that kind of ecosystem in Japan. Definitely, years ago, I wrote a book about the comparison between Silicon Valley and Tokyo. At the time, I was focusing on the features of the city, but it's not essential point. The point is the community itself. So it's important to build and to make it bigger, make the community bigger and more productive and more the sharing mind or the sharing everything like the Keiretsu. So I want to ask you, how do you care about the community, or how make the Keiretsu like this kind of shape? I mean the international and the many serial entrepreneurs or the big names join your members.
Right. So we're going to talk then to answer your question about the process. And I'm going to weave into the process a great company that was created here in America that's solving red cedar issues in Japan.
That's interesting.
And we, the members, invested in it, and it came from our Mid-Atlantic chapters, and it came to many chapters here in America. A lot of our members invested in it, and it's a 7% or 7x return on dollars. Why don't you mention the company and what they do, and then we'll talk about the process, how that company went through the process for final funding.
I think you're talking about the American company, and that actually the Keiretsu helped quite a bit. Immunomix, I think that was it. Yes, I think that's an interesting example of the company created here. This side means the U.S. side, and funded by the U.S. The market, they look at it, was outside of the U.S., 100% market outside, and become successful. Actually, there was a $130 million that return. That's actually not return yet. It's actually just a dividend.
The beginning.
It's a dividend, I heard. You know, fortunately or unfortunately.
And it's solving a very important issue. I think in the 50s, I think you have many of these trees in Japan.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Sugi,
akasugi, yes. Red cedar.
Red cedar. And then we, here in America, created this.
I believe what they what they were successful in the format was that they have the vaccine format, the platform that is, and they looked at it, who has need. Who has a needs to do this? So they could put the platform into the solving the allergy problem, and who has a problem, and they look at the world. It was interesting. So they look at the world instead of here, and they targeted the market in Japan. And one more thing, on top of the needs and demands there, but pharmaceutical industry and medical industry, they are very well established in Japan. And then big names. And, you know, we're talking about the farmer here, but we're talking about the Asian side, Japanese side. Pharmaceutical company is a very, very large company, and they are looking for license. They're looking for new technology to license with, and they're looking for company to buy.
Yes.
So they knew it, so they targeted that. So they're successful getting loyalty.
So the process, and the members are the secret sauce. always have been, always will. They're the ones that are in the marketplace, having opportunities given to them. And the great news about Keiretsu, that a lot of our members, including myself, and I've made 53 investments at Keiretsu, is that, wait a minute, you go through the process and then we'll see if you're worthy for funding. And so this company went through the process in Mid-Atlantic. And so the process is the following. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to follow up and said that's again that the American company and raise the fund here only. But if they have a problem raising the fund here, that way, that market is Japan, right? Mm-hmm. So if we have the platform like Keiretsu Japan, and Keiretsu Japan could approach the regular investing market or the corporate investing market to fund it because they're familiar with the problem and solution is from U.S., but then solution is applied in Japan. So we could have helped that same thing in this platform of Keiretsu Japan.
Yes.
So
well, great success story, and I'm glad. And a lot of us are social bottom line investors, like myself and my wife. We like to make a return on our money, but we also want to make an impact in society, and hopefully that's solving a lot of allergy issues in Japan. But the process is following, and this is what we do in Seoul, Korea, what we do in Istanbul and Northern California. Let's talk about Northern California because I'm the chapter president here and also the founder. But I still, like a teacher, I still want to be involved. And so the process is following. We have 50 companies a month to apply.
I see.
And then we have committees, 10 different committees from software. One thing unique about Keiretsu Forum, we also invest in real estate. We invest in lighting, we invest in shoes, women products, you know, allergy, a platform for allergy. So 50 companies a month, and we send all the companies to our committees. Generally, 90% get rejected. The 10% that make it, the top 10 companies that make it, then go the next step. The next step is a deal screening day, and that always happens 1 week before the forums. The forums happen every single month. There's never been a calendar month we've missed it in Northern California the last 17 months. So 50 down to 10, and then it goes to a committee of members, all pro bono. All members are giving of their love, time, and expertise. So those strategics are sitting at the table. They're sitting there helping. The companies come present to us. They have 15 minutes to present. We close the doors. We discuss the companies. And then we vote privately which companies we think would resonate with the membership. Only 4 make it. 50 down to 10 to 4. Today you saw a Keiretsu Forum. And then they go on the road show the following week, and they go to see our 300 plus members every month, and usually 2 to possibly 3 get funding. Typically in a region like Northern California, we fund 25 to 35 companies. Now, what I love about our network, now they can come around the world. So yes, there's capital here, but when they come to Japan, I want them to ask for resources. I want them to hopefully say, gee, I need an introduction to this strategic or this corporate. And so, you know, Keiretsu Capital, we have now 71 companies in our portfolio. Our companies are asking all the time for resources. We have a lot of gray hair at Keiretsu, so we have resources. So your companies that you fund in the future, please ask them to ask for more than capital. And that's the process. So we've been here for half an hour. And I really look forward to meeting some of your colleagues and friends and potential members in the future in Tokyo if you have me come over. And any more questions of Keiretsu Forum. We've talked about the process. We've talked about many things. But
so what is the benefit of the members? Actually, like you mentioned now, the members can enjoy their shared knowledge and skills and so on.
Okay. Members are part of Keiretsu Forum for diverse deal flow. They stay because they're making good investments and, more importantly, making friends and trust. Thank you so much.